Hey guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read Ezra 6-10, Proverbs 5, and Psalm 10. Let's get started. Darius the king made a decree, and such was made in Babylonia, in the house of the archive where the documents were stored, and in Ecbatana, the citadel that was in the province of Media, a scroll was found on which it was written. No record. In the first year Cyrus the king issued a decree concerning the house of the God of Jerusalem, that the house be rebuilt, and a place where sacrifices were offered, and that its foundations be retained. The height shall be 60 cubits, and its breadth 60 cubits. There are 3 layers of grey stones and 1 layer of timber. Let the cost be paid from the royal treasury. And there shall let the gold and silver vessel of the house of God, which Nebuchadnezzar took out of the temple, as in Jerusalem, and brought to Babylon, be restored, and brought back to the temple that is in Jerusalem, each to its place. You shall put them in the house of God. Now therefore Tanai, your governor of the province beyond the river, Shethar-Boznai, and your associates, the governors who are in the province beyond the river, people who let the work of this house ungodly. And the governor of the Jews of the elders of the Jews who build this house of God on its side. Moreover, I make a decree regarding what you shall do with these others of the Jews for the rebuilding of this house of God. The cost is to be paid to these men in full and without delay from the royal revenue. The tribute of the province from beyond the river, and whatever is needed, bulls, rams, or sheep, for a burnt offering. The God of heaven, meat, salt, wine, oil. As the priests at Jerusalem require, let that be given to them day by day without fail, that they may offer pleasing sacrifices to the God of heaven and pray for his life, not the king and his sons. They shall make sacrifices to the God of heaven and pray for the life of the king and his sons. They shall make a decree that if anyone alters this edict, a beam shall be pulled out of his house, and he shall be impaled on it, and his house shall be made a dunghill. The God who has called his name to dwell there overthrow any king or people who shall put out a hand after this, or to destroy the house of God that is in Jerusalem. I, Darius, make a decree, and let it be done with all diligence. Then, according to what was sent to Darius the king, Tanai the governor of the province beyond the river, Shethar-Boznai, and their associate, did with all diligence what Darius the king ordered. And the orders of the Jews built and prospered through the prophesying of Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo. They finished their building by a decree of the God of Israel, and by a decree of Cyrus and Darius and Artaxerxes king of Persia. And this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month of Adar, in the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king. And then the people of Israel, the priests and the Levites, and the rest of the returned exiles, celebrated the dedication of this house with God with joy. They offered all at the dedication of this house of God 100 bulls, 200 rams, 400 lambs, and a sin offering for all Israel, 12 male goats, according to the number of the tribes in Israel. And they set the priests in their division, and the Levites in their division, and the service of the God at Jerusalem, as it is written in the book of Moses. On the 14th day of the first month, they returned exiles, kept the Passover. When the priests and the Levites had purified themselves together, all of them were clean. So they slaughtered the Passover lamb for all the returned exiles, for their fellow priests and for themselves. It was eaten by the people who were separated, who had returned from exile, and also by everyone who joined them and separated themselves from the uncleanness of the people of the land to worship the Lord God of Israel. And they kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy, and the Lord had made them joyful. And they had turned God unto the king of Assyria to so that he aided them in the work of the house of God. And after this, in the reign of Artaxerxes king of Persia, Ezra the son of Sariah, son of Azariah, son of Hilkiah, son of Shallum, son of Zadok, son of Hetur, son of Mary, son of Azariah, son of Moriah, son of Zerahi, son of Uzzi, son of Buki, son of Abishur, son of Phinehas, son of Elzar, son of Aaron the chief priest. This Ezra went up from Babylon. He was a scribe skilled in the law of Moses, that the Lord, the God of Israel, had given, and the king granted him all that he asked. Well, the hand of the Lord his God was upon him, and there he went up to Jerusalem. In the 7th year of Artaxerxes the king, and the people of Ezra, and some of the priests and the Levites, and singers and gatekeepers, and temple servants, and Ezra came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, which was in the 7th year of the king. On the 1st day of the 1st month he began to go up from Babylonia, And on the first day of the 5th month he came to Jerusalem, with the good hand of his God was on him. Now Ezra had set his heart to study the law, and to do it, and to teach his statutes and rules in Israel. This is a copy of the letter that King Artaxerxes gave to Ezra the priest, the scribe, a man learned in matters of the commandments of the law, and his statutes for Israel. Artaxerxes king Ezra the priest, the scribe of the law of the God of heaven, peace. And now I make a decree that anyone of the people of Israel, or their priests or Levites and my king, who freely offers to go to Jerusalem, may go with you. For you are sent by the king and 7 counselors to make inquiries about Judah and Jerusalem according to the law of your God, which is in your hand. And I should carry the silver and gold that the king and his counselors have freely offered to God of Israel, whose dwelling is in Jerusalem, and all the silver and gold that you shall find in the whole province of Babylon, and with the free will offerings that of the people and the priests bow willingly for the house of their God, and it is in Jerusalem. With this money and their drink offering, you shall offer them with this money. Then you shall, with all diligence, buy bulls, rams, and lambs, and with their grain offerings and their drink offerings, you shall offer them on the altar of the house of your God, and that is in Jerusalem. It will never seem good to you and to your brothers to do with the rest of the silver and gold that you may do according to the will of your God. The vessels that you have been given to you for the service of the house of God, your God, you shall level before the God to Jerusalem, and whatever else is required of the house of your God, which falls to you to provide, you may provide out of the king's treasury. And I also the king make a decree to all the treasures in the province beyond the river. Whatever Ezra the scribe of the law of God heaven requires of you, let it be done with all diligence. Up to 100 tons of silver, 100 quarts of wheat, 100 baths of wine, 100 baths of oil, and so without prescribing how much. Whatever is decreed by the God of heaven, let it be done in full for the house of the God of heaven, lest his wrath be against the realm of the king and his son. He is to notify you that it shall not be lawful to impose tribute, custom, or toll on any of the priests, or Levites, the singers, the doorkeepers, the temple servants, or other servants of this house of God. And you, Ezra, according to the wisdom of your God that is in your hand, appoint magistrates and judges who may judge all the people that is in the province beyond the river, and all such as know the laws of your God. And those who do not know them you shall teach. Whoever will not obey the law of your God and the law of the king, let judgment be strictly executed on him, whether for death or for banishment or for confiscation of his goods or for imprisonment. Blessed be the Lord, the God of our fathers, who put such a thing as this into the heart of the king, to beautify the house of the Lord as in Jerusalem, and who extended to his steadfast love before the king and his counselors, and before all the king's mighty officers. I took courage when the hand of the Lord. The hand of the Lord my God was on me, and I gathered leading men from Israel to go out with me. These are the heads of their fathers' houses, and this is their genealogy of those who went out with me from Babylon. In the reign of Artaxerxes the king, of the sons of Phinehas, Gershon, and of the sons of Ithamar, Daniel, of the sons of David, Hattush, of the sons of Shechaniah, and of the sons of Parosh, Zechariah, with whom were registered 150 men. Of the sons of Pahath, Leonite, the son of Zerahia, and with him 200 men. Of the sons of Zattu, Shechaniah, the son of Jehaziel, and with him 300 men. Of the sons of Eden, Ebed, the son of Jonathan, and with him 50 men. Of the sons of Alan, Jeshaiah, the son of Athaliah, and with him 70 men. Of the sons of Shephatiah, Zebediah, the son of Michael, and with him 80 men. Of the sons of Joab, Obadiah, the son of Jehiel, and with him 218 men. Of the sons of Bani, Shalomith, the son of Joshua, and with him 160 men. Of the sons of Bevi, Zechariah, the son of Bevi, and with him 28 men. Of the sons of Asgad, Johanan, the son of Hakatan, and with him 110 men. Of the sons of Adonican, those who came later, their names being Eliphalet, Jewel, and Shimei, and with them 60 men. Of the sons of Bigvi, Uthai, and Zach, with them 70 men. I gathered them from the rivers at once to have, and there we camped 3 days. As I reviewed the people and the priests, I found there none of the sons of Levi. Then I sent for Eliezer, Ariel, Shimei, Elnathan, Jareb, Elnathan, Nathan, Zechariah, and Misham, leading men for Joel and Elnathan, who met against us, and sent them to Edith, leading men of the place of Cassiphia, telling them what to say to Ezra and his brothers and the temple servants at the place Cassiphia, namely to set as ministers of the house of God, and provide the good hand of God. They brought us a man of discretion, the son of Mali, the son of Levi, the son of Israel, namely Sherebiah, with his sons, the kinsmen, 18. There's a Hashabiah, with him Jeshaiah, the sons of Merari, and with his kinsmen and their sons, 20. Besides 220 of their other temple servants, whom David and his officials had set apart to attend the Levi. They were all mentioned by name. Then I reclaimed the faster, at the river at Havah, that we might humble ourselves before our God, to seek from a safe journey for ourselves and our children, and for all our God. Good. Now I was ashamed, I was thinking, we were band soldiers and horsemen to protect us against the enemy on our way, since we had told the king the hand of our God is located on all who seek him, and the power of his wrath is against all who forsake him. So we fasted and implored our God for this, and listened to our entreaty. And I set apart two of the leading priests, Sherebiah, Hashabiah, and 10 of the kinsmen with them, and I weighed out to them the silver and the gold, and the vessels, the offering of the house of our God, at the king's counselors and the law. And his lords and all Israel, their present had offered. He weighed out into their hands 650 talents of silver, and silver vessels worth 200 talents, and 100 talents of gold, 20 bowls of gold worth 1,000 dirhams, and 2 vessels of fine bright bronze as precious as gold. And I said to them, you are holy to the Lord, and the vessels are holy, and the silver and the gold are for you offering to the Lord, the God of your father. Guard them and keep. Guard them and keep them until you weigh them before the Lord. Until you weigh them before the chief priests and the Levi, and the heads of fathers, houses, and Ezra at Jerusalem, within the chambers of the house of the Lord. So the priests and the Levites took over the way of the silver and the gold and the vessels to bring them to Jerusalem, to the house of our God. Then we departed from the river at Havah on the 12th day of the first month to go to Jerusalem. And the hand of our God was on us, and he delivered us from the hand of the enemy and ambushes by the way. And he came to Jerusalem, and there we remained 3 days. And the 4th day within the house of our God, the silver and the gold, and the vessels were weighed into their hands, and Meremoth the priest, son of Uriah, and with them was Ezra the son of Phinehas, and with them were the Levites, Joseph the son of Jeshua, and Noadiah the son of Binnui. And the whole was counted and weighed, and the weight of everything was recorded. At that time, those who had come from captivity, the returned exiles offered burnt offerings to the God of Israel. 12 bulls for all Israel, 86 rams, 77 lambs as a sin offering, 12 male goats. This was the burnt offering to the Lord. They delivered the king's commission to the king's satraps and to the governors of the province beyond the river. And they ate the people in the house of God. After these things had been done, the officials approached me and said, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the peoples of the land for their abominations. And the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, and the Egyptians, and the Amorites, and they have taken some of their daughters to be wives for themselves for their sons, so that the holy race has mixed itself with the peoples of the land. And in this way, first the hand of the officials and chief men has been foremost. As soon as I heard this, I tore my garment and my cloak, and pulled hair from my hair, and beard, and sat up, and all who drank at the words of the God of Israel, because of the faithlessness of the returned exiles gathered around me while I sat appalled until the evening sacrifice. And at the evening sacrifice I rose from my fasting, with my garment and my cloak torn, and fell upon my knees and spread out my hands to the Lord my God, saying, O my God, I am ashamed and blush to lift my face. My God, for our iniquities have risen higher than our heads, and our guilt has mounted up to the heaven. From the days of our fathers to this day, we have been in great guilt, and for our iniquities we our king, and our ways have been given into the hand of the kings of men, to the sword, to captivity, to plundering, and to utter shame, as it is today. But now, for a bereavement and favor has been shown by the Lord our God, to leave us a remnant and to give us a secure hold within his holy place. God may brighten our eyes and grant us a little refining in our slavery. We are slaves, yet our God has not forsaken us in our slavery, and has extended to us his steadfast love before the kings of Persia. To grant us some reviving to serve the house of our God, to repair his ruins, and to give us protection in Judah and Judea and Jerusalem. And now our God, what shall we say after this? We have forsaken your commandments, which you commanded by your servants to the prophets, saying, the land that you are entering to take possession of it is a land impure with the impurity of the peoples of the land, with their abominations that have filled it from end to end with their uncleanness. Therefore do not give your daughters to their sons, neither take their daughter for your son, and never seek their peace or prosperity, that you may be strong and eat the good of the land, and lead a foreign inheritance to your children forever. And after all that has come upon us for our evil deeds, and for our great guilt, seeing that you, our God, have punished us less than our iniquities deserve, and have given us such a remnant as this, shall we break your commandments again and intermarry with you, the people who practice this abomination? Would you be angry with us until you consume us, so that there would be no remnant, nor any to escape? O Lord, the God of Israel, you are just, for we have left a remnant as escapers today. Behold, we are before you in our guilt, for none can stand before you because of this. While Ezra prayed and made confession, weeping and casting himself down before the house of the Lord, a very great assembly of men, women, and children gathered to Israel, for the people wept bitterly. And Shechaniah the son of Jehiel, of the sons of Elam, addressed Ezra, we have broken faith with our God, and have married foreign women. And the people said, even now that has heard prophets and inspired this. Therefore let us make a covenant with the Lord our God to put away all these wives and their children, according to the counsel of the Lord, and those who tremble at the commandment of our God. And let it be done according to the law. Arise, for it is in your task. It is your task, and we are with you. Be strong and do it. And Ezra arose and made the leading priests and the Levites and all Israel take an oath that they would do as had been said. So they took the oath, and Ezra withdrew from before the house of God, and went to the chamber of Jehohanan the son of Elisha, where he spent the night, neither eating bread nor drinking water, but he was mourning over the faithlessness of the exiles. And proclamation was made throughout Judah and Jerusalem to all the returned exiles that they should assemble at Jerusalem, that if anyone did not come within 3 days, I ordered that officials and the others of the Lord's property should be forfeited. And he himself banned from the congregation of the exiles, and all the men of Judah and Benjamin assembled at Jerusalem within 3 days. It was the 9th month, and on the 20th day of the month, and all the people sat in the open square before the house of God, trembling because of this matter, and because of the heavy rain. And Ezra the priest stood up, and said to him, he had broken faith, and married foreign women, and so increased the guilt of Israel. Now they make a confession to the Lord, the God of your fathers, and do his will. Separate yourselves from the evils of the land, and from the foreign wives. And all the assembly with loud voice, answered with a loud voice, it is so, we must do as you have said. But the people are many, and it is a time for heavy rain. We cannot stand the open, nor is this a task for 1 day or 2. And for we have greatly transgressed in this matter. Now officials stand for the whole assembly, and all in our cities who have taken quite a while, come at appointed times, and with them the elders and judges of every city, until the fierce wrath of our God over this matter is turned away from us. Only Jonathan the son of Asahel and Jahaziel the son of Tikva opposed this, and Meshullam and Shabbatai the Levites supported them. And they returned exiles to Ezra. Ezra the priest selected men, heads of fathers' houses, according to their fathers' houses, each of them designated by name. On the first day of the 10th month, they sat down to examine them, and by the first day of the first month, they had come to the end of all the men who had married foreign women. Now there were found some of the sons of the priests who had married foreign women: Maaseiah, Eliezer, Jarib, and Gedaliah. From the sons of Jeshua, the son of Josaphat, and his brothers, they pledged themselves to put away their wives, and their guilt offering was a winner of a flock of them for their guilt. Of the sons of Emma, Hanani, and Zebedee. Of the sons of Haran, Maaseiah, Elijah, Shebaniah, Jehiel, and Elzee. Of the sons of Patrick, Elionai, Maaseiah, Ishmael, Nathaniel, Josaphat, and Elsa. Of the Levites, Josaphat, Shimei, Kaleah, Pethahiah, Judah, and Elisa. Of the singers, Elisha, of the gate, Shalom, Telem, and Uri. And of Israel, the sons of Parosh, Ramiah, Izziah, Malchijah, Medium, Eleazar, Hashabiah, and Benaiah. Of the sons of Elam, Mattaniah, Zechariah, Jehiel, Abdi, Jeremoth, and Elijah. Of the sons of Zatu, Elionai, Elisha, Mattaniah, Jeremoth, Sarah, Zabad, and Esau. Of the sons of Bebai were Jehohanan, Hananiah, Zabbai, and Athlah. Of the sons of Bani, Mishal, Maluk, Adai, Jeshua, Sheol, and Jeroboam. Of the sons of Pathmo, Adnah, Chelul, Benaiah, Maaseiah, Mattaniah, Bezalel, Binui, and Manasseh. Of the sons of Ham, Eliezer, Ishijah, Malchijah, Shimeon, Benjamin, Malch, and Shemer. Of the sons of Hashim, Mattata, Zabbai, Eliphalet, Jeremiah, Manasseh, and Shimeon. Of the sons of Bani, Madai, Amram, Uel, Benaiah, Bedai, Chaluhi, Phaniah, Meremoth, Elisha, Mattaniah, Jason. Of the sons of Binui, Shimei, Shelemiah, Nathan, Adaiah, Machanadai, Sharai, Azarel, Shelemiah, Shemari, Shalom, Amariah, and Joseph. Of the sons of Nero, Geo, Mattithiah, Zallah, Sabina, Jedi, Joel, and Benaiah. All of these had married foreign women, and some of the women had even born children. Proverbs 5. My son, pay attention to my wisdom, incline your ear to my understanding, that you may keep discretion, and your listening God knowledge. For the lips of full bear woman drip honey, and his speech is smoother than oil. Her Indian she is bitter and woman, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, his steps follow the path to Sheol. She does not follow the path of life, her ways wander, and she does not know. And now, sons, listen to me, do not depart from the words of my mouth. Keep your way far from her, and do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your honor to others and your ears to the merciless. Lest a stranger take their fill of your strength, and your labors go to the house of a foreign hand. At the end of your life you grow, and your flesh and body are consumed, and you say, how I hear discipline, and my heart despise reproof. I do not listen to the voice of my teachers. I incline my ear to my instructors. I am at the brink of utter ruin in the assembled congregation. Drink water from your own cistern, find water from your own well. Should springs be scattered abroad, streams of water in the streets. Let them be for yourself alone, and not for stranger with you. Let your fasting be blessed, and rejoice in the wife of your youth. Your lovely day, let it burst through you at all times with light. Intoxicated oil is in love. Nor should you be intoxicated, my son, with a full bitter woman, and embrace the bosom of the narrow waters. For a man's ways are before the eyes of the Lord, and he plunders all his path. And the iniquities of the wicked ensnare, and he is held fast in the courts of prison. He dies for lack of discipline, and because of his great folly, he is led astray. Psalm 10. Why, O Lord, do you stand far away? Why do you hide yourself in time of trouble? Let arrogance be the wicked. In arrogance, the wicked hotly pursue the poor. Let them be caught in the schemes that they have devised. Let the wicked boast in the desires of his soul. And the one greedy for gain casts and renounces the Lord. In the pride of his face, the wicked does not seek it. In all sorts there is no God. His ways prosper at all times, and your judgments are on high, out of his sight. As for all his foes, he passeth them. He says in his heart, I shall not be moved. Throughout all generations, I shall not meet adversity. His mouth is filled with cursing and deceit and oppression. When his tongue out mischief and iniquity, he sits in ambush in the villages. In hiding places he murders the innocent. His eyes stealthily watch for the helpless. He lurks in ambush like a lion in his thicket. He lurks that he may seize the poor. He sees the poor when he draws them into his net. The helpless are crushed, sitting down, and fall by his mouth. He says in his heart, God has begun, and he is in his face, he will never see. Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up your hand. Forget not the afflicted. For that just the wicked renounce God and say in his heart, you will not call to account that you do see. Will you note mischief and vexation, that you may take it into your head? For to you the helpless commits himself. You have been the helper of the fatherless, break the arm of the wicked and the evildoer. Cause wickedness to account until you fight down. The Lord is king forever and ever, that the nations perish from his land. O Lord, you hear the desire of the wicked, you will strengthen their heart. You will incline your ear to do justice to the fatherless and the oppressed, so that man and his of the earth may strike terror no more. Now that is done, I should now do the Lord's prayer. Please by your Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we have forgiven our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.